Hello and welcome to the Beardicus Show. My name is Beardicus and today I shall be talking about Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2 is the sequel to the 2015 title Splatoon 1, which honestly you probably could have figured out with the available context clues, but you know, whatever, let's just go into this review. Splatoon 2 stars these little inkling guys, part kid, part squid, but mostly abominations made out of ink. You can pick from either the boy or the girl inkling, but the only real difference is the different hairstyles you have available, so I'd recommend just picking a character based on the hair you like the most. Yeah, you can always change your inkling later if you want. And here we are at... Oh, right, I forgot about this. Yes, just like in the first game, every time you turn on this game you have to sit through a news broadcast from the local singers. This time it's Off the Hook, featuring Pearl, who is actually pretty scary looking. And Marina, who is actually an Noctoling. What is that over there? Do you see that? That inkling with the arrow. What is she pointing at? What's over there? That is weird. Huh. Here we are at the main hub of the game, Inkopolis Square. Not to be confused with the first game's hub world, Inkopolis Plaza. No joke, I actually didn't even realize they had changed the name at first. And now that we're here, we can go check out some of the stores. Oh. Well, apparently we can't. We're not cool enough yet. That's fine, whatever. I guess we'll just go and play some games first. Now, there are 3 different gameplay modes that we can try. Single player, competitive multiplayer, or cooperative multiplayer. But it's actually the new co-op mode that I'm most excited for, so let's go try that first. Okay, here we go. Salmon Run... Wait a second. Oh, come on! Fine. We'll go play Turf War. Here we are at the main event of the game, the competitive multiplayer. Now, full disclosure, I haven't played ranked matches in this game. I'm not a huge fan of competitive games. I mean, I have a competitive side, but I don't really like him. So, I prefer to just stick with regular matches in games like this. Which means I'm stuck with Turf War, which is largely the same as it was in the first game, but with new maps. Now, just to be clear, I don't think this is a big deal, since Nintendo sold, like, 6 Wii U's, which, you know, severely limits the number of people who actually played Splatoon 1. Plus, now that there's a sequel, fewer people are going to be playing Splatoon 1, which means if you want to play Turf War, they kind of had to include it in Splatoon 2. That being said, I wouldn't have been disappointed if they included a second regular match, but hey, whatever. I don't work for Nintendo. I don't call the shots. While the mode itself is largely unchanged, other parts of the game have changed, which will affect this mode. For example, the weapons, secondaries, and abilities have been rebalanced to make the game more fair, and the specials have had a complete overhaul so that a match can't be determined by last-second ink strike anymore. Plus, the graphics are so much nicer. This game looks so pretty. Now, as I've said, I haven't actually played any of the ranked matches in this game, so I don't actually know how they feel, but I do know that they've added separate ranks for each mode, which means that if you're bad at one mode, it won't affect your rank in the other 2 modes, which is probably a nice change if you are a competitive person. Another returning event for this game is the Splatfest. Off the Hook will announce a contest where you pick between 2 options. For example, the first one was mayonnaise versus ketchup. And then you play some Turf War battles to earn a score and hopefully help your team claim victory. And then you get some snails, which you can use to tinker with the abilities on your gear. But what I've always liked most about these events is how there's an actual concert going on in the hub. So even if you don't want to play any Turf War matches, you can just find a good seat, zoom in the camera, and get a better view. Oh, whoa, okay. Okay, game, that's a little too close. Well, I mean, you can see Marina doing her thing, and, Pearl is here, looking, just as scary when she's singing as usual. Okay, you know what, maybe we don't want to get this close. Let's try again back here. Okay, this is much better. Now we can actually enjoy Off the Hook's music. Well, that was fun, but I think I'd actually much rather be playing the game right now. Another cool thing about Splatfest is how each map gets a new appearance during them. Look, it's nighttime now. Okay, I admit it's not a big difference, but I appreciate it. And it seems like they even throw in a special map for the occasion. Come on, let's go check that one out. No, wait, I remember this part. Don't look at this. Oh, that was embarrassing. Okay, well, we've reached level 4. Let's go check out Salmon Run. Salmon Run is a new cooperative horde mode where you and 3 teammates cooperate to fend off a horde of running salmon. Again, you probably could have figured that out from the context clues. The point of Salmon Run is to survive 3 waves while holding off the salmonid menace, and also stealing some of their eggs. There are 2 types of eggs, power eggs and golden eggs. Power eggs, which you earn by doing damage to salmonids, serve no purpose during gameplay itself, but at the end show how much damage you did compared to how much damage your teammates did. Golden eggs, however, are what we're here to collect. Each wave you will have a quota of golden eggs that you have to meet. If you don't meet the quota, or all 4 teammates are splatted at the same time, then it's game over. And before you get all self-righteous about how the Inklings are the real monsters and that the salmonids did nothing wrong, and that it's wrong to steal unborn children or whatever, keep in mind that the salmonids are not friendly. They're here to eat the Inklings. Like all of the Inklings. And why are they even bringing their eggs into battle? What purpose could that possibly serve? Just bury your eggs in the gravel like normal salmon. Salmon Run is only available on certain days, and unlike Turf War, Salmon Run only has, to my knowledge, 2 maps. And when playing the mode, you are forced to use 1 weapon, chosen at random at the start of every wave, out of the available 4 weapons. Which I actually like. It forces you to use a weapon that you might not have used otherwise. Plus, since it's a cooperative mode, there would have been a tier list of weapons within a week, and 90% of weapons would never get used in this mode at all. Of course, this comes with a downside, like when you're forced to use a weapon that's really not made for this sort of high-speed, frantic gameplay, like the charger. Okay, it's not entirely useless, it can do this. But this is even worse during certain events. Like if you're stuck with a roller or some other slow weapon during a griller event, you're not going to be doing much damage. I'd show you what I mean, but my capture device froze while I was recording it. So here's some footage of a griller, and just imagine I'm using a roller and being completely useless, and you'll know what I mean. What do you mean I'm useless anyway? I'll have you know I came in 3rd for power eggs that round. Now if you don't know what events are, it might be because the tutorial doesn't actually tell you. There are several events in this mode that you might not be aware of if you don't read the manual. Yes, there's a manual in this mode. See? Right there in the corner. That tiny little button prompt. If you press minus, it'll bring up the manual, which will allow you to read about types of salmonids, in case you need to brush up on boss weaknesses or something. Or you could learn about these events that you'd have had to figure out all by yourself, which, to be fair, isn't actually that hard to do. This is just more convenient. Also, high tide is a beach. There's like a 25% chance it'll happen in any given wave. It severely reduces the amount of room you have to work with, and it pretty much guarantees you'll be overrun with bosses by the end of the wave. And it can happen at the same time as other events, which is just, wonderful. I love it. Overall, I really enjoyed this mode. As I said, I'm not a hugely competitive person, so I always appreciate when games like this include a cooperative mode. And besides that, just in general, it's pretty exciting. Did I really write that? I'm sorry, I don't know who included all of these puns in this script. Anyway, there is one other mode, the single player mode, or hero mode. Much like the single player campaign in Splatoon 1, this one stars a single Inkling on a journey to single-handedly fight the entire Octarian army and retrieve the Great Zapfish. If that seems familiar, it's because it's literally the exact same story as in the first game. There are a few differences in this mode. Like, for example, this time the game takes place in Octo Canyon instead of Octo Valley. I'm not entirely sure, but I think this is a joke, right? Like, changing the names, but not really. Octo Valley to Octo Canyon. Look, it's either a joke or it's lazy. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt when I say it's a joke that's just not funny. There are several actual differences from the first game. First of all, Marie is your guide this time instead of Captain Cuttlefish, and she's got just as much of an attitude as ever. Yes, Marie, I am some kind of completionist, and I don't think I like your tone. That being said, if you find her in the hub levels, you can talk to her a bunch, and then she eventually gets annoyed at you, just like when I talk to people in real life. Each level has 2 hidden collectibles, a sunken scroll and some sardinium. And these collectibles can actually be really well hidden, especially in the levels where you have to fight the Octolings. Hey, Marie, you want to see a completionist? Check this out. I searched every inch of this level. The entire thing is green, and I still can't find... Wait, is that a box over there? Hang on a second. Yep, should have known. It was in the second place I looked. I just missed a box, I guess. Anyway, the point remains, the collectibles are harder to find in this game. While scrolls function the same as in the first game, the sardinium is used with power eggs to upgrade weapons and bombs. You can no longer upgrade your weapons from a menu either for some reason. Now instead, you need to return all the way to the beginning of the mode to access this upgrade box doohickey, which is actually really inconvenient, even with fast travel, since this mode now requires a loading screen when you go from one section of the hub to another. But the best and worst parts of this mode are actually the weapons. You're no longer forced to use the hero shot replica like you were in the first game, amiibo content notwithstanding. You're now allowed to use every type of weapon. Oh, well, you're forced to use every type of weapon, at least the first time you play a level. Meaning you get a chance to practice with every type of weapon instead of just the hero shot. But on the other hand, if you want to be able to purchase any of the single player weapons to use in multiplayer, you have to beat every level in the game with that particular weapon. Which means if you truly want to complete this game, you need to beat all 32 levels 9 times. Wait a second. Did I miss a sardinium? I didn't even notice that. It's okay, everybody. I found it. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Every level 9 times. Here we go. Also, I was pretty disappointed by the story. But Beardicus, I can practically hear you say, obviously they weren't going to do an in-depth story. To which I reply, yeah, I know. That's the problem. I expected next to nothing from the story, and they gave me literally nothing. Look, all of the pieces were there for something to happen to resolve the Inkling Octarian War. Backstory from the first game showed that the Octarian army needs the Zapfish to survive just as much as the Inklings do, meaning they're not actually evil. Inklings and Octarians also used to be on friendly terms. Marina from Off the Hook is an Octoling, showing that even now Octolings and Inklings can be friends, and an Inkling is helping the Octarian army. They had all the pieces to make something, anything, happen. And they looked at it and they just went, nah, we're not going to make anything come of any of this. All they had to do was when you beat the game, just add a few lines. Like, hey Inkling, why are you helping the Octarians? Well, because they need the Zapfish just as much as we do. Well, then why don't they just come live with us in Inkopolis? That's a great idea. And then they all lived happily ever after, and they were all friends, and everybody was happy. That's it. I'd have been satisfied with something as stupid as that. But they didn't even give me that. Literally nothing changed from the end of the first game. Except, I guess, the Squidbeak Splatoon... What is it called? Oh, it is the Squidbeak Splatoon. I thought I was wrong. Huh. The Squidbeak Splatoon has a 4th agent now, which I guess is different. Look, if my biggest complaint about a game like this is that I didn't like the story, I'm pretty sure that's a good thing. Overall, I don't usually like multiplayer-focused games, But even so, I've managed to enjoy my time with Splatoon 2. So, if you do like multiplayer-focused games, then you'll probably like it a lot more. Even if Turf War gets kind of old after a little while. Not that it matters. After all, I'm going to be spending all of my time in Salmon Run. Thanks for watching it. Oh, never mind, it's closed. I guess I just have to sit here and wait for the next 6.5 hours. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I found Off the Hook in Inkopolis Square, and I figured out what that arrow thing was. It turns out it was a squid-shaped phone. Which is weird, right? I mean, we don't have human-shaped phones. It's just weird. That's gotta be uncomfortable. Look at the size of it. How did they even fit that in their pockets? Hey, thanks for watching. Did you like that video? If so, why? I mean, hit the like button to let me know, and subscribe so you'll be notified when my next video goes up. Did you disagree with anything I said? Have something to add? Tell me in the comments below. But for now, my name is Beardicus, and this has been The Beardicus Show. Stay fresh, everybody. What? Yes, I know they have a new sign-off, but I like the other one more. Well, sure, but... Fine. Don't get cooked, stay off the hook. There, happy?